Why are we still doing circumcision, which is a pagan act? It has nothing to do with internal, profound change towards growth and ascension in degrees. First of all, I wouldn't so decisively define it as such. All the customs in the people of Israel are projections of spiritual roots. In each of them there is a spiritual root. So the act itself too does contain an internal essence, if you will. That's one. Two, a pagan act doesn't mean it's something you need to disrespect. I'm not really seeing that the contemporary world with its customs and conduct is all that happy and proper and prosperous as opposed to the pagan culture that peoples had in the past. I think those conducts actually, at least in many cases, and in all the peoples, they originated in their own nature and helped them survive and build their social lives. The circumcision has a very profound and high spiritual root. It talks about, first of all, making a covenant. Second, it is by doing that, even though a person doesn't really participate, because how does a baby participate? The poor fellow is crying. And the parents who are doing that are happy. Why? Doing that to their baby. Why? Because these are symbols of entering spirituality. A person who enters spirituality, first of all, each of us, including you, will have to circumcise himself. Meaning what? To achieve spirituality, you'll have to remove from all of our desires a certain portion of the desires, and that portion is called the foreskin, and we'll have to refrain from using it. In our connection with the spiritual world, with the Creator, which is called the spiritual zivug, coupling, we will not be able to use a part of our desires, because these desires we will not be able to correct towards bestowal and love. Within our nature, we have such desires that are incorrigible. So, as like the foreskin, we cut them off, we don't use these desires, and with what we can go into spirituality, we do. So this act called circumcision, which in Hebrew translates as the covenant of the circumcision. In it, there are 3 degrees of correction of the desire towards making it the correct desire for entrance to spirituality. If you want to, you can open a book like Betshah, Kavanot, the Keras of Intentions by Bala Sulam, who wrote it following the Ari's writings. And he explains thoroughly how in spirituality we do the circumcision on ourselves with all the reasons. And in corporeality, we try to follow, in corporeality, the same procedure, but in matter. So this act is not a pagan act, really. Of course, it's incorrect. Like all the customs of Israel, it's got a spiritual root, and hence it is sacred.